So Erin had to head down to Cincinnati to where her office is. She's usually a remote worker, but goes in a couple times a year to have meetings or work on a project in person. She was like, I'm going to run an Airbnb. If you're able to swing it, do you want to go with me? So I decided to head down. My original plan was to just cruise around the city a little bit and bring my laptop and then do some work in a coffee shop. I was able to go because I didn't have any shoot schedule, even though I had some editing I kind of wanted to get done. But I was lucky that I didn't have a ton I had to do on this Friday. We had a really cool Airbnb, and in the morning we went to Brown Bear Bakery, which is a spot we'd been to before, which is awesome. And then I took off on my bike. Had a little bit of a change of plans, because Erin was like, I'm actually working north of the city. If you wanted to jump on the route that is the Ohio to Erie Trail that we've done before and head north, maybe to Loveland, I could pick you up there and it'd be a shorter drive for me. So I figured, oh, that's a great idea. Why not? I'll go to Loveland, sit at that brewery I know, and then I could knock out some photo editing or something like that. So that was the original idea behind my plan. So I rode down to the riverfront. That is the Roebling Bridge there in the background. You'll see it again. It's actually kind of the prototype. It's the guy who designed the Brooklyn Bridge, and he built this suspension bridge first, which I do think at the time was the longest in the world, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, I got down to the trail, I started riding, and then I kind of vlogged a lot of the rest of this route. Here we go. That's Kentucky over there. So I know from past experience it used to get weird trying to get out of the city. I heard they made it easier. There are a couple sketchy parts. It was always well signed, so hopefully the new bypasses of the sketchy parts are well signed too, because I did not put anything into my Wahoo route. All right, a sign indicating the start of the Ohio to Erie Trail, which we've done 4 times, maybe 3 times. That must be the tire dip location down there. Dip your tire in the Ohio River, and then a few days later in Lake Erie. Not today for us though. Thaddeus Cincinnaticus. Dang, left my fender in the car. If I hit any crushed limestone, it would have been helpful. It rained all last night. Here we go. So yeah, today's plan. Originally, I was gonna ride 25 miles north to Loveland, post up at a brewery or a restaurant, do some work on my laptop till Erin picked me up. Now, I'm debating just seeing how far I can get. We'll hit Loveland, we'll make the decision there. That might be a good lunch stop. Check the time, travel onward. We'll see. This section is a little nostalgic because it either meant we're at the beginning of a long journey or coming to the end of a long journey. So it's kind of fun to be out here for just a day ride, but it makes me wish I was doing even more. When we first started doing Ohio to Erie, this section along the river here I always thought was so interesting. I always was wondering why it hadn't been more developed. There were a couple houses and a couple churches, but most things looked abandoned and most of the lots were just vacant. I don't know if things have been torn down in the past, but I always thought that, wow, this is gonna end up getting developed. And now, years after we've done Ohio to Erie for the first time, seeing all this new construction there makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of cool because they did it in like a style that kind of matches Cincinnati's aesthetic. I know whenever development happens, people love to scream gentrification. I feel like in this case it's not, because it doesn't seem like there was anything there before. There's not anyone getting priced out. But if you're from the Cincinnati area and you have a different perspective, or there's something I don't know, let me know. But it does look like an area in transition, going from almost nothing to something fairly nice. Well, in Northeast Ohio, it felt like fall all hit at once, but it's going to be 80 today here around Cincinnati, so Wool's already coming off 6 miles in. I also need to share my location with Erin. She is working north of Cincinnati and is going to pick me up however far I get so she doesn't have to backtrack. So story time. Have to talk about this next section coming up here. The last time we did Ohio to Erie, we started in Cincinnati, and as we were riding along here, it was drizzling. The rain got a little heavier. We were starting to get damp, but we weren't soaked yet. I'd even worn, the rain clothes. I had my chrome shoes on that are a little bit water resistant, and I was feeling pretty good about not being too soaked. We pulled up here where we need to cross this street. There was a little bit of a puddle that we were all standing next to waiting for our cars to go by. There's the infamous puddle right there. It was huge then though. A pickup truck came by and it felt like a slow motion movie scene as this wave just covered us, and then a secondary wave from the back tires. We were dripping with dirty road water. It was one of the worst things that could happen at the beginning of a tour. It ended up raining really hard later and it didn't matter as much because most of it got rinsed off, but it was still this moment that I'll never forget, and I'm sure the friends won't either. What are we doing here? Crossing the road? I don't remember. Yep. There's signage, but we're gonna keep winging it. They got the grab down there. So I'll be interested to look at my Strava and my Wanderer Earth, because I think this is different. I think this is the bypass by the airport. I follow the Facebook groups for Ohio to Erie, and I read stuff and it sticks in the back of my mind, but until you do it, and this part being far from home, I can't remember. And with the pavement not looking that new, this is also called the Ohio River Trail here, so it's the local trail, because Ohio to Erie is just a collection of different trails and routes. I'm wondering if this always existed, but it didn't connect, so we didn't used to go this way, or I'm just going the wrong way. We'll find out. Either way, if I'm going the wrong way, it's new miles and I'll backtrack and no big deal. Well, there's no OTET signage, Ohio to Erie Trail, but according to Google Maps, it should connect if I go this way, which does make me think this is somewhere we've never been before. We used to go around some other way. Gonna try it. Like I said, I like getting new miles, but I also kind of want to get far today, so we'll see what happens. I am glad I stopped there and looked at the map, whether this works out or not. I think this is right, but also in my brain I was like, okay, the other one's the Ohio River Trail. I need to go north. If I'm following the Ohio River, I'm not going north, so hopefully this connects. I just got recognized on the trail. I'm famous. So yes, we just got a sign for Ohio to Erie. So this is the Lunken Airport connector I've read about. And geez, is this so much better than the old way. Really sketchy street we used to have to go over. I hope we bypass that. Okay, well this part's confusing, because now I'm not seeing that obviously two different directions here you can see down there, and there's not an Ohio to Erie. Little Miami and National Scenic River. That doesn't help. I thought I was going to say River Trail. I think maybe we need to be down there. I'm gonna do the smart thing and do another map check. It looks like over the bridge is the right choice. This must be all the new stuff that makes the connection. Alright, I'm assuming that means 1 and 3, not 1/3. One is the Ohio to Erie Trail for the record. So there's been great signage again since the last time I had to make a decision. And then right here you have this incompleted bike trail, clearly. You have these signs, but why not put a sign right here at this Y? I mean, I assume it's got to be this way, but I'm just guessing. Well, that's good. Loveland, 12 miles. That was my original destination, so now I know I'm on the right track. Maybe this is where we came back into the trail, where that trail doesn't connect. Low bridge, everybody down. Passing a couple small towns that I'm guessing Cincinnatians ride their bike up to, make a turnaround point, you know, get some food and drinks and head back. Since this is always the beginning or end of our ride, you know, we never get a stop at these places. That is one thing though that's great about Ohio to Erie for like bike touring. No matter what your level, you're almost never too far from resupplying or sitting down somewhere nice. Just to get back to that new trail route that I took, that is fantastic. It used to be such a relief to get here on the Little Miami Trail after getting out of Cincinnati, because like I said, you went through one little suburban district that had no bike lanes. It was horrible. You went over some industrial parkway with trucks going everywhere. So this is awesome. Big change to the route. And being that this is like a bike touring route that everyone does, people who are retired, younger people, to have it feel much more safe is great. Not having a ton of stress right at the beginning of your ride or right when you're trying to finish multiple days out on a trail. A little update on my ride. I am 24 miles in at 11 o'clock. On your left, Loveland, mile 28. Should we stay here and work? Or try and impress Aaron with how far we could get today? Oh, there's the brewery. That was the original plan. So I decided to roll through. I have a cookie in my bag that'll at least get me to the next town before I need a resupply on something to eat. So, story time and question for you guys. You know, we did Ohio to Erie, or a version of it, a number of years in a row. And that was really cool. You know, you kind of see the way things change. Like today I got that new trail section. We're coming up on a building that the first time we rode by was completely abandoned. Big old factory building, but looked really cool. Next year it was being redeveloped. Third year, it had a brewery in it. That's the year we're riding in the pouring rain all morning, and that was kind of our beacon of hope. The place we were gonna go and dry off and eat some food and drink a beer. Google said it was open, we got there, it was closed. It was kind of crushing emotionally. Anyways, that's not the question, that was the story time. So the last couple years we've done something completely different. You know, went to Michigan, did the Gap and C&O Trail, and it's so cool to explore new places. What do you prefer? Do you like to get to do something over again because then you get to relive all the memories, like I said, see how things change, you know, tell these kind of stories I just told, or just always see something new? Let me know down below. So the place I just passed, as I was saying, the memories, remember the first year we did it, it was like 90 degrees and humid. And that place had these misters outside, a tent that was just kind of misting, and it was heavenly to stand under there. Do you want to talk bike selection? You know, I'm out here alone. I got nothing else to do. Let's do it. So my drop bar gravel bike would be usually the Selection, my Raleigh Tamland 2, for a solo ride on pretty nice trails. But the tires are not holding air. They'll hold for, you know, a short ride. But when I did that hundo last week, I had to fill them up on every 33-mile loop. So I just didn't have time to pop the bead and see if there was any sealant left or to throw tubes in it. So I went with the Gunner. One of the benefits of the Gunner though was I decided just to pack my clothes into the pannier since I still have the rack on it. And it's also a good place since I have my laptop in case I decide to work. And I really anymore don't mind this position upright, but when I was going fast for a while back there and leaning down on the bars, drops are just better for that, obviously. That's the point of drops. So what I did is last night, you know, me and Erin went out to dinner. I was wearing jeans and other clothes, so I was able to have her take those and then also the clothes that I slept in. So I only have what I need on the bike. But an interesting side note is, even though nothing felt unusual, with all the weight in just one pannier on the front, I actually can't ride no-handed. The bike will pull to the side of the pannier. I can't let go long enough to show you. So here is Cartridge Brewing I was talking about. This whole thing was empty, no windows the first time we rode by. Well, I don't think it's called Cartridge anymore. I think Saucy from Cleveland actually bought it. We're gonna go check it out. And it looks like this detour is still in force. I need to figure out where to go if I want to go farther north. I do remember reading that detour was still happening, but I did not plan for it. We took it the last time we were here. I guess that bridge they're working on is taking forever. Let's go check out the brewery though. I don't think I'm really gonna stop. At the least I'm gonna eat my cookie, but it is near lunchtime. It's 11:45. Maybe I stop and have a beer and plan my route. Let's see if we could run the detour. Oh, we went right around it. We're good. The detour looked like it was going to take out on a super busy road. A couple years ago when we were out here, we had planned a much better detour. It was a little climby, some hillies, which I don't mind. But since I didn't go off at the spot where we would have, and I didn't plan the route, I don't know, there were some construction workers, but they were up by the road. I think I got lucky it was lunchtime. Also, stopping at Cartridge Brewing finally. I just feel like our history with that building, I just decided I had to do it, and when I started eating something, I was like, oh, thank God I stopped. I definitely was ready for some food. I'm 35.5 miles in, so 1 o'clock. Erin should be done with work at 4. I think I'm just gonna ride for the next 3 hours. See how far we can get. Also, we're getting a little sun. It's been low clouds, misty, foggy all day, so it almost felt like a drizzle even. But here we go. Beautiful day. Glad it came down. I just saw a sign that said Xenia is 32 miles. It's 1:17. Erin's done at 4. Xenia's not right off the freeway. She'd have to go a little bit out of her way. But there's also a brewery there that we've been to a couple times. I know how to Erie. Both times we were there, actually, it was raining. We waited out the rain. Kind of think I'd go for it. So Aaron just texted me to ask how it's going. I said, good. On the way to Xenia. Some bumps here I need to pay attention to. But here's an interesting little thing. Last night when we were driving down, we went over this bridge and I looked down and I'm like, that looks like a bike path. Pulled up the map. From Xenia to where we were on the freeway, there's a rail trail I've never been on. Do I have time to get to Xenia, make that turn, and get out to the freeway stop so Aaron could just hop off the freeway and pick me up there? I don't know. If I get to Xenia and make that turn, are there any roads that go to that rail trail if I don't make it in time? Watch the rest of the video to find out. In this episode of Everything's Been Done TV, can Tim make it with 1 bottle of water and 1 pumpkin spice cookie to meet his girlfriend at the freeway? I don't know. Dun 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 dun. I'm also in the middle of trying to plan a beer situation for the bike swap on Saturday, but the bike swap on Saturday will already happen by the time you see this video, so. We're moving. Put some aero bars on this old horse. Get out! We just crossed the road that would take you up to Fort Ancient, which is a Hopewell Native American site. And it's actually up for becoming a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's been in the news lately. One of me and Aaron's first bike trips ever was riding down here and then riding up there because I really wanted to see it. That's before we knew to check elevation profiles. Real flat ride for a while, then straight up. And that's when Aaron was new to cycling and not into riding hills. So if you're new to cycling and you're mapping a route, look at that elevation profile. She also, I should say, wasn't very comfortable with busier roads back then, so we decided to take a different route that we saw on Google Maps back to the trail. Turned out to be a hiking trail with a lot of stairs. Banging our shins on the pedal, sore shoulders from shouldering the bike. A lot of lessons learned on that early trip together. So up there is the freeway. Aaron will be crossing to come get me. We are in the Little Miami Valley, by the way. Just hit mile 50. Gonna see how far those pretzels, beer cheese, pint of beer and little taster of beer can get us. You know, I just live climbing the double staircase. Aaron's out here somewhere putting in a shift. I'm out here putting in a shift. Caesar Creek. She's a Caesar Creek. Caesar Creek. She Caesar Creek, yeah. $230. 56 miles, 15 miles to Xenia. My plan to hit that other trail might not happen. We shall see. Miles in, still jamming along. We be jamming, heyo. Unpopular opinion. The Club Nouveau version of Lean On Me is better than the original Bill Withers. Don't at me. I love the word woolen. I don't know why. Woolen mill. It just sounds good. Woolen. Woolen mill. Yeah, say it to yourself. Only 3 miles to Xenia. And it's a good thing because my dogs are barking. So, I never finished that video. And even though I'm walking in here with the same bike I was riding, I'm not gonna pretend like that ride wasn't 2 weeks ago, because it was. But what happened is I got into Xenia, sat there at the Xenia station where like the 5 different bike paths come together. I called Erin and she was just getting off work, and I could have decided to use that time to try and get down that other bike path I had never been on. But I just got a little worried that I'd be out in the middle of nowhere and then she would have to go out of her way to find me. It looked kind of desolate on Google Maps. There was one town that was between the freeways, whatever. It was one of those things where I really wanted to do it, but decided better off just to head over to the brewery, get a beer, get my laptop out, and do a little bit of work, answered a bunch of YouTube comments and stuff like that. So it was a great day out. I had a great ride, and the ride, by the numbers, 72 miles, 5 hours of rolling time, and 300 feet of elevation. The elevation number is even funnier to me because 100 feet of that was like in Xenia. I did a little ride actually around the town before I went to the brewery that actually had some hills. So very flat, but on that bike, with what I had loaded on it, it actually felt tougher than that sounds. So for what it's worth. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, give this video a thumbs up. Check out our little sticker t-shirt store down below. The second greatest place on the internet. And I will see you in the next one.